whole idea, and these two, where the first session 2 and session 3 had to do with the younger son, session 4 and session 5 have to do with the father. And ran and kissed him is the whole idea of his forgiveness, the father's forgiveness. Week 5, February 13th.
Why'd you write that in?
Was that, I couldn't...
Write in forgiveness.
Forgiveness.
After ran and kissed him. On February 13th, it's the phrase, and I'm not locked to these phrases, so I don't know, but that's just kind of how I'm thinking it through. We had to celebrate. And it's the whole idea of God the Father killing the fattened calf, a huge act of generosity, gives him rings, sandals, and a robe, and we have to celebrate because he was once dead and now he's... And this talks about God's generosity. And that's how, this is where, so if forgiveness is running, this one is generosity. And so we see the Father's forgiveness and generosity in these 2 weeks. And that's why the word prodigal, actually the word prodigal means recklessly extravagant or having spent everything. And that's how Keller calls his book The Prodigal God, because he uses the first definition of recklessly extravagant. And that's what we'll talk about there, how God is miraculously over the top in terms, our cups runneth over. I mean, he does exceedingly abundantly beyond all we could ask or imagine. He doesn't just give us our bare necessities. He's a God, in all 3 parables, he's a God who lavishes love on us and celebrates in big ways, kills the fattened calf over things that are going on. It's Jesus telling the woman who in the disciples' eyes wastes the money for the perfume. He says, this is a good thing. And he makes a crazy statement. Everywhere my message is talked about, this woman's story will be told. That there's a place for this kind of reckless generosity, which is what prodigal means. Week 6 is, now we spend the last 2 weeks on the older son. And week 6, February 20th, the phrase that I'm using, and it's a longer phrase, is, look, all these years I have slaved for you. And the first word of this, look, is not really it's not a good translation for us. It's like, it would be like speaking to your father and going, damn it, all this time I have done this, and you have not paid attention to me. It's a kind of a statement that's disrespectful and shocking at the same time, and we don't really get it there. So I don't know that I'll say damn it in the sermon, but this is the kind of the one where we go and we begin to see, and this is the purpose, the real purpose for this parable. Thank you, is because Jesus wants to tell the Pharisees, the Father is so different than your lives. You are the older sons. And what Jesus is saying here in the big picture is, I did not come to establish a religion. You've got the younger son who is irreligious, and the older son who is religious. And he says, neither one of you are in the kingdom. Neither one of you are in. You're doing things, it's all about you. Both of these are, both of their positions is all still selfish. They didn't do anything out of love for the Father. Look, all these years I have slaved for you. The dude just showed his cards. I mean, really. I mean, you just say, oh my gosh. You imagine, here you were thinking that this kid was kind of always around the home, really wanting to do what you wanted and doesn't. And then finally, I don't have a phrase for the last one, but it's the older son, and it's kind of this, it's the tragedy. The story ends without an ending. It ends with the father begging the son to come into the party and the son refusing.
Older son.
The older son. And so it ends with the father going back into the party and the older son staying out and being left outside. And it's this idea of the unwritten ending is what I would say there if you were going to put something down. And the unwritten ending really is that Christ, and I want to try to draw it into Christ, is that Jesus has now fulfilled things and to establish something where he's looking to save the irreligious and the religious from themselves, and to establish the opportunity for us to have a relationship with the Father that is based on love, instead of mere obedience that's more like religion.